To Ms. Claudia Flickroy. You are a blessing. Thank you for agreeing to do this because after all, they are our future, the children are our future. So I would like to ask Ms. Flickroy, Assistant Principal Ms. Smith, because Dr. Norman was out of the office. He's been in conferences all week. And I would like the SGA students to please stand at this time. And can we all give a big round of applause? They're the ones that have been greeting you as you come in and passing you out brochures. Okay. I would like to welcome you all to Election 2017. Meet the Candidates Forum. Citizens United to Reform and Empower is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to unify concerned and dedicated grassroots citizens who will work to develop visionary empowerment solutions that seek to improve the quality of life standard for citizens in Bastrop, Louisiana, and Morehouse Parish by building quality public education as the foundation for economic development in the 21st century and beyond. This forum is part of our ongoing voter education efforts to help voters make informed decisions at the upcoming election. As chairperson, I would like to thank you all for coming out tonight to hear firsthand from our mayoral candidates. And we hope over the course of this program, you will learn more about each candidate and what they hope to do for the city of Bastrop. I'm sure all of you can agree, in every community, there is work to be done. And without a sense of caring, there is no sense of community. I will now turn the meeting or the forum over to our moderator, the president of the Morehouse Parish Police Bureau, District 6 Representative, Mr. Terry Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. And again, welcome to each and every one of you for tonight's forum. As she stated, I am Terry Matthews, and I will serve as the moderator for this event. There are some ground rules that I would like to put in place before we start. And these ground rules are for the audience ground rules. All cell phones, all cell phones must be turned off or placed on silent. There will be no cheering, booing, or for any of the candidates. There will be no outbursts of any kind. Our candidates' ground rules. Each candidate will respect the moderator, the timekeeper, and the audience. Each candidate will demonstrate respect for each other. Keep answers specific to the question asked, and please be brief. There will be no grandstanding speeches. Okay? Well, we're ready. Our first question for this evening is, in 2008, Bastrop lost hundreds of jobs due to the closure of the International Paper Mill. The negative impact of this economic disaster devastated the city as well as the parish. Tax revenues were lost, homes were sold, schools were closed, and the city population decreased. If elected mayor, what is your economic development plan to revitalize the city, create sustainable jobs, and increase our population? Two minutes, please. Ms. Alford.
Good evening, and I wish to thank the KIA organization for sponsoring this forum. Thank you so much. It gives us an opportunity to have more exposure to you, the public. My vision is not just my vision. My vision is a shared vision. Over the months, I have spoken to different community. And Mr. Matthews, you're absolutely correct. In 2009, I assumed the office of the mayor. Was that for me? And our unemployment rate skyrocketed to nearly 16%. And we were trying to reel back from a very devastating time, and a series of other things happened. Southern Plug burned, GP closed, so that boosted our unemployment rate even higher. But what we have to do to grow our economy is to work with the state and federal government to leverage our power. We cannot do it by ourselves. But equally as well, we have to look within our own community. We can't sit on the sideline and think that we're going to be discovered. We have people right here with talents. We need to help them with finding the resources to build a small business. As we all know, that this country was built on small businesses. I feel that we need to improve on a lot of things within our community. And it's going to take a shared vision and hope to pull together. The crime rate has increased. That's a deterrent to business. We have a declining fire rating, which is also a deterrent to business. But we also have to work in collaboration with other entities. As of now, Morris Parish School Board is our largest employer. But we're also looking at a decline in student population. I will partner with all stakeholders in this community to get our community back on its feet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I would like to just state that the timekeeper will knock 3 times to alert candidates at the 22nd mark for wrap-up, okay? So when you hear that knock, you have 20 seconds left. Bishop Bradford.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you again for hosting this forum. My name is Bishop Bradford. This is answer some of the questions. How do we bring jobs back? Well, we got to first clean our city up. We have a hip-hop problem here in the city of Bastrop, right in the heart of the city of Bastrop. As he said, when International left, they left their mess as well. They left the pipes, and no one is going to bring any jobs into our community until we actually clean it up. My first step is getting International cleaned up. Once we get the governor and DEQ on board with our city, getting our city cleaned up, our health hazard for the future of our city, then we can think about economic development. That's 140 acres over there. And once they clean it up, then it can be utilized. But until we clean it up, then we can bring jobs into our community. No company nowhere on the earth gonna come in with a marketing team and look at the city of Bastrop and see that you have that health hazard right in the heart of the city and want to locate here and bring jobs. We must first get International paper mill cleaned up, then get our education on board. Our education got to be brought up to a standard where people will want to move inside of the city of Bastrop and Morehouse Parish. Right now, with an educational problem we have now, flunking schools, no one's going to move in. Let's stop fooling ourselves, okay? Now, the third thing, we must realize that it is very important that we control our crime, our safety, our health for our people. We can actually do better by cleaning International up, take the jobs that we have right now at the city government. We have employees at the city working for the city under $10 an hour. Some been there for 33 years, don't make $10 an hour. We got the people at the top making $65,000, $75,000 an hour. We got to treat our own people right, and that's what I intend to do, bring accountability to the office in the city of Bastrop. Thank you.
Mr. Cotton.
Good evening. I'm so glad to see all of you. When Ms. Kennedy said the SGA, I thought she was talking about Safe Group America, honest to God, because all those kids are in our ACT program, the Safe Group America program. To address the question, Mr. Matthews, Mayor Olive has described and set this tone for this about the history of our decline, International paper. that we had for 106 years here. Mr. Bradford also talked about his ideas. But 16.4 miles from the Bastrop city limits is the third largest telecommunication company in the country, CenturyLink. Across the street, a company that I worked for 8 years as an engineer, systems engineer, IBM, is located with 400. Because of our education system, our children are going to miss out on those kinds of opportunities. I know how to develop, in fact, I already have a relationship with CenturyLink and naturally IBM. We work for Louisiana Tech. My company does all of the ACT prep for Louisiana Tech. And I'm not trying to grandstand Mr. Matthews, but it's just a fact. I'm just stating facts. We already have a connection with CenturyLink, IBM, and Louisiana Tech. In fact, we're offering, CenturyLink's offering internships. Well, I want our kids to be ready to take advantage of that. There are a lot of spin-offs. I'm an entrepreneur since I left IBM in 1977. And being an entrepreneur, I have to think of how can we generate revenue. There are going to be many Steve Jobs, Michael Dell types that's going to come in here from Silicon Valley. We have silicon on the buyer down here. We may as well be 2,000 miles away, and I know how to leverage that and other opportunities.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Mr. Jackson.
Good evening. I've heard people say that we need to bring jobs in here, and they're not coming. They're not coming until we build an atmosphere that is conducive to their profitability. Going out, making trips to Washington, making trips to Philadelphia, it's not going to work. What are we going to offer these companies? At best, the most we can offer them is a return on their sales tax. We did that for IP for 10 years. I showed up to a couple city council meetings. I said, don't give that money back. When they get all their ducks in a row, they're gonna leave anyway. So we gave them 10 years of $500,000, $5 million, and after that 10 years, guess what? They left. They had their machinery in their new plant. Now, I'm not saying we should not have made efforts to keep them, but we should have been a little smarter. Why not take that $500,000 a year that we gave them, put it into a 10-year rolling account? On the 11th year, they get back the first year, 12th year, second year. And when they leave, if they leave in the 10th year, we got our $5 million. As far as jobs being created in Bastrop, that's what we need to do. There are opportunities for entrepreneurs. I do have a plan for at least 1,000 jobs. Everybody will be in their own business. The city won't have to pay for it. The state won't have to pay for it. We won't have to go out and beg somebody to come in and offer us those 1,000 jobs. That'll start as our economic base. When we get an atmosphere.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
I didn't hear that.
Mayor Jones.
Good evening. First thing, IP has been gone just about 6 or 7 years. We can't look back. We got to move forward. We got to move forward on our own. We got to educate our kids. We got to start programs that get them up. We got to come out, bring our schools up. No one, and everyone says this, no one is going to move here with our system. No one is going to move here with the D system. I told them the worst thing about being mayor is going to a meeting in Northeast Louisiana and every parish but Morehouse received an award for bringing their school up. We didn't bring ours up. We got to get our schools up. People will start leaving. Actually, CenturyLink wanted to bring 100 jobs in. It's 100 jobs. They're looking for a place now. But they're not going to move here and take their kids back to Monroe School. We got to do it. We got to emphasize our education program, get it up. Now, I've heard several different ways, and I've worked with several different ways. And, you know, we got to get together, go to our meetings, and bring our schools up ourselves. Also, branding, we on the branding committee. If you look on the the Economic Development Forum, you'll notice Bastrop is listed along with the rest of them now. We join that when they advertise the rest of these cities, Bastrop is advertised. We're working with Nova to educate our kids, getting them job ready. We have 3 kids working in Monroe that went through the Nova program. They're working in Century, ran through a new program. We have approximately 30 kids right now training so they can go to work up in Crossett on this new school. We are getting our kids ready, but we got to do it ourselves. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Montgomery.
Good evening, everybody. My approach to economic development is a holistic, aggressive diversification program. In other words, there's no one immediate solution. Just this past week, I've taken the initiative to go and meet with State Representative Marcus Hunter, who, by the way, is married to one of our first daughters of this city. I also met with Mayor Brian Breland in Sterlington. And I didn't meet with these people for any endorsements, for them to give me the okay. I just want to know from their perspective, what do you see Bastrop need to do in order to thrive? And Mayor Breland told me, he said, man, he said, why are y'all so late to the party? Do you know within, he gave me his guide, his Sterlington guide that they have used to grow that city. And do you know within 10 minutes of here in Sterlington, there's approximately 1 million cars that pass through there a month. Now, if you got 1 million cars and you sitting 10 minutes away and you haven't figured out a way to take advantage of all that traffic that's passing through here, and of course a lot of those cars belong to us because we're going to work, we're going to shop, we're going to eat. And so also there's 135,000 population within that area. And so what we got to do is we got to network with our state representatives, our business leaders, all the people that we know that are movers and shakers, and learn to diversify our economy, not depend on one mill, one computer company, or none of that. So my answer to economic development is diversification. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rawls.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Ooh, sorry. I would like to first publicly thank the Cure for inviting me to this event and Mr. Matthews for moderating. To me, there's really no good, simple answer to fix everything. I say that everything is in a big picture. There's 1,000 little pieces to it. We need to build on the good and improve what is not good. We need to focus just on the issues plaguing the community, and we have to acknowledge that they go hand in hand. Crime, schools, corruption, city government, economic development, each of these issues impact each other. You cannot successfully improve one by ignoring others. Ultimately, there's issues that affect the entire community. Of course, if we want to bring jobs, economic development, we have to work with all the parish organizations, from the nonprofit all the way up to the city government, city and outside, so that we can make Bastrop look more attractive to people who want to come in. That's going to help us to create jobs, because we got to first see, companies want to see that we can keep the jobs that we have. If we keep losing students, if we keep losing families, we're slowly losing jobs. They make great points. For every 25 students that we lose, you can figure we've just lost 10 jobs that are in the town of Bastrop. And first thing, we need to keep those and show people that we can keep them, and then we can start, getting help from the state. They see we're trying to develop new things. The IP lot, that is an eyesore for Bastrop. We have to do something about that immediately. We either have to make them come clean it up, donate it, so that companies will have spaces available to be able to create new jobs, new businesses, be able to build stuff. Thank you.
Reverend Wright.
Good afternoon. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. I am a visionary. My economic plan is to market me as your mayor. By marketing me, I have been well educated. Louisiana Tech University, I have 3 undergraduate degrees in business technology, marketing, and human resource management. I have a Master of Science from Grambling State University in administration with a concentration in sports. I'm also certified in manufacturing. I believe in industrialization as well as in manufacturing. I also have a vision to bring a multi-complex center which will house a multicultural center. When I say I have a vision, I don't mean it's just something I thought of. It's something, a plan that God has given me to bring about in this city. Now, we are sitting right now inside of this building. To me, this is not what I would consider as a place where we as a public would assemble. This is a gym. To me, it's a gym. I have a spirit of excellence. To me, this is a gym. We need to give this gym back to the community. It needs to be given back as a recreational center since we don't have one gym in this community. So also, I've talked with an information and technology company. They told me that they wouldn't want to come to Bastrop because as soon as they come into Bastrop, it's not beautiful at all. So therefore, we need a beautification project to undergo first before anybody will actually come into this city. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate. Our second question, crime, whether violent or non-violent, is becoming a greater concern to the many citizens in our city. Do you have a plan to reduce crime? And if so, what is it? Bishop Bradford.
Thank you, Mr. Matthew. Yes, I do have a plan. My plan is, first, I would increase our police department. As you know, we have about 9 or 10 unsolved homicides. We need a qualified police department with a crime lab that would do that. I would appoint a crime division officer to see and specialize in homicides. We are the leading parish. We're the second leading city in the state of Louisiana in homicides. A city this size, that's bigger than East St. Louis. East St. Louis don't have that. We need the proper technician. Our officers got to be trained. We're going to have to invest in that as a community to solve these crimes. I really feel that the families in this community deserve to know what happened to their loved ones. We can do this by just taking people and putting someone in accountable to do that. And that's my main goal, once I'm elected, is to implement a homicide division specializing in violent crime. That property crimes, we have a little theft going on in Bastrop, but most of all, we must take the right initial steps, show accountability, stop lagging back, just waiting for something to happen. Let's investigate. Let's get our police department up to par, our sheriff department up to par, that we can hit off some of this stuff. Some of the crimes I went out myself and didn't have a crime lab scene on the scene there, And I think we can do better, and we got to show more accountability in our community for the safety and the welfare of our citizens in this community. It is a must. Thank you, Mr. Conn.
Mr. Cotton.
Mr. Matthews, that's a really great question. What are we going to do about crime? My platform, the centerpiece of my platform, will address crime, but in the way of prevention. I'm going to have an intervention officer. That's what we do for a living, intervention. Closing community colleges down on Grambling's campus because kids can't get in. We specialize in that type of thing. We are an intervention program. We're going to track, with parents' permission, every student that's from the 5th grade on. Our program is, for the city of Bastrop, the Towns to Gowns program. We want to see every student wear a gown, whether that be a GED, a high set, and I brought the high set program to Bastrop through with Minister Montgomery and the NLCEC. and work keys. I brought work keys to Bastrop as a private citizen, Henry Cotton. We are developing a work-ready community. And I'm not trying to grandstand, mister. It's just fact. But on the intervention program, we're going to catch every student up. I wish Andre Williams was here, the principal at Lake Providence High School. We spent 3 years at Lake Providence. They had the worst school system in the country, lowest test scores in the country. We went to an A school in 3 years because they hired us to do their intervention program. I'm going to have an intervention officer here in Bastrop that's going to work for the city. More policemen won't solve the problem. It's a good thing we lost a policeman today that went to Monroe City, transferred out. But that's the centerpiece of my campaign. We know how to do it. We're going to have the best intervention program for our young people. We're going to stop the dropout problem, with or without the school system.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Violent crimes must be stopped immediately. We must prioritize if we don't have enough police to cover every crime. Quit worrying about that 16-year-old kid on the corner with a dime bag when you got this guy over here with a gun shooting. We have to stop that. We must solve and punish people who commit violent crimes. Adding more police officers, I think our biggest financial problem for the city is the retirement of our public officials, the retirement fund for them, police officers, firemen, and people who work for the city. So hiring a whole lot of them won't help a lot. Now I'm gonna get a little specific, and I'm sure I'm gonna catch a lot of heat for this. I have a plan for that too. I would hire the deputy inspector of a major city, +2, to the police chief in that city. She's gonna bring with her 50 to 100 50-plus-year-old police officers who will basically work on a volunteer basis, $10, $12 an hour. They're trained, they have tons of experience, they know how to catch criminals who commit violent acts. I'm gonna stop right there. So the next part will really get me in trouble. We're gonna have to get rid of some of our current officers.
Thank you so much. Mayor Jones.
First of all, we do have a trained police force. Every officer on the street, every officer we have has been to school. They're certified, they're qualified. Now, we are building the force up. When the mill closed, our force went down. We're getting it back up, we're getting the cars back on the streets. Now, if you're going according to national statistics, cyber crime Bastrop is at around 50%. The national average is only 60. Most cities around 40-something. Just check it out, we're right there. Crime in Bastrop, if you look on these reports, especially on the internet, it says that Bastrop is one of the highest crime areas in the state. Bastrop, West Monroe, Natchitoches, Opelousas, all these places are small. The way they figure crime is by the 100,000. If you take our 10,000 and divide them into 100,000, you find out 10. You come up with 10. So instead of having one murder, we have 10 murders. Instead of having one robbery, it's multiplied by 10. That's how they figure the crime. That's why our rates are so high. That's why West Monroe is high. That's why Opelousas is high. We don't have enough people to be as high as they said we are. Like I said, we're getting the police on the street. Our detective unit is back up. Our police are working. Like I said, we got some of the best officers around. I work with some of them. These officers are dedicated. They have to be. These are also some of the lowest paid officers in the state. That's the only reason we're losing officers. They're being offered other jobs at higher pay, even though they don't have the benefits where they're going, but they are being offered a higher pay, and they're young.
Yes, as I stated before, I have a holistic, aggressive, diversified approach to this. I just have a problem with anybody who say that we need to lock more of our young people up. That is not the answer. The answer is to provide a vision, to provide hope. If you put a person in a pen and you leave them in that pen with some people, they're gonna act like animals. That's just a fact. The fact is, what we need to do is we need to provide hope for our young people, an avenue for them to grow and express themselves. The last thing we need to do is build more jails. That's a simple solution that a lot of people look at. And as I stated before, the main thing we need to do is to go down with all our neighbors to the south, Monroe, Sterlington, and we need to be a part of that growth. What should concern you is that 10 minutes from here, you have the largest growing community that's in Louisiana. But for some reason, we have missed the boat. The ship has sailed. Monroe is doing well, Sterlington is doing well, we're all doing well. And we sit here talking about locking our kids up. The kids are our future. Locking them up is not the answer. The answer is to provide hope, the answer is to provide direction, and the answer is to provide education for these kids, not to lock more of them up.
Thank you. Mr. Rawls.
Yes, I have a kind of a different approach about it. First off, we want to make sure that on top, we're more active and involved in the community as a mayor. Then we step it down, let's look at our parks. What do our children have to do right now to keep them off the street? Are they going downhill? Have y'all been to Dotson Park? Have y'all been out there at the different places that used to be something great where the kids wanted to do? Now it's not the same anymore. We've got to work on a way to get our children more involved, stuff to do. Work with the youth ministers. Give them a positive influence, somebody positive they can look up to, instead of, not saying every kid's going to walk down the street and there's going to be a negative influence, but that's going to be a start to it. Secondly, we need to work with the chief of police, everybody on top for officer retention, so that the officers that are on the street, that, like he said, we're lower paid, so it's hard to keep them longer. But I want to try to find a way to, instead of having an officer for 8 months, I want him 8 years. I want him to be able to go down the street and the community trust who he is, so he don't make these simple judgment calls and put a child behind bars when technically they know the child, he's just messed up for the first time. Maybe the officer can get him a pastor's number. Hey, there's activity over here. Let's do that instead of throwing the book at a young child. We need to just find ways to work together as a community to get stuff for these children to do, so the start of it. And just like I've heard nothing disagree, somebody with a dime bag, well, that's a gateway. If they're starting small, it's just going to slowly, progressively get worse. We need to stop it before it even starts. So hopefully in the future we'll have kids that want to be involved with more sports. Hopefully that'll increase their educational wants to be involved in school and do different things. And slowly but surely we'll just build a better community. Thank you.
Pastor Wright.
I believe that we need to involve the community. You remember the day when we had Neighborhood Watch? We need Neighborhood Watch. We need to be a part of our own communities. Now, the dropout rate is 10.9% in Bastrop. Overall, in the state of Louisiana, it is only 7%, so that's terrible. So what I have already implemented, I have a grant writer on my team. We have a STEM project grant already in effect. A STEM grant will help educate our young people. Now, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Over 50% of STEM graduates come from overseas, and they go back with our education. So what we need to do is educate our communities, and the crime rate will be lower. It'll bring about higher job production, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. There's no easy answer to that question, because right now, as we sit here in this forum, there is a prison playing on somebody's desk. The prison business is a big business, it's a money-making business. But we have to approach criminal activity from 2 points of view, the short term in the long run. In the short term, we need to increase the visibility of police officers in our communities. We need to have a non-enforcement community presence, and that way that would deter crime. We need to build a relationship with schools and communities. And we, under my administration, we had the neighborhood watch, and the chief at that time used to always tell me the best security system is a nosy neighbor. In fact, I spoke with a lady today. She left out of her house and she said she had left her door unlocked. I said, "You left your door unlocked?" And she said, "Yes, ma'am. My neighbor next door will watch everything." Building our community values and offices. You know, there's only so much money in the budget. And we can talk about giving pay raises, but sometimes you give a raise that's not sufficient enough to help that officer make a living. Sometimes we have to look at other things. You may just put them in another tax category, which would ultimately cost them more. So we have to find incentive bases to help our officers feel good about themselves and how much we appreciate them. The long run approach is education. Poverty and education, criminal activity, all those things work hand in hand. And when you move people more to a productive life, then you will move them away from criminal activity. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. That was our rapid fire form questions. I want to thank each and every one of you for your answers. And I did this in a different way because I wanted the audience, the citizens, to hear exactly where you were coming from with the answers that we were going to give you these questions. Now, at this time, I would like to give you 2 minutes. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to introduce yourselves. Tell me about your platform, your record, and your credentials. We will start with Ms. Allen.
Thought Mr. Cotton would be next. I am the former mayor, as all of you know, 2-term council member under the Hawkins administration, and served as mayor pro tem. I have experience in public policy. I graduated from the University of Louisiana with a degree in business. I have an understanding of the city charter. I'm an experienced grant writer and proposal writer. I retired as a business resource coordinator of federally funded programs in Monroe, Louisiana. I have experience in budget management and government best practices. I found that with all that, and it doesn't matter how much you boast of who you are, people don't care until they know how much you care. And my qualifications, my heart is in this community. To the business owner who has to replace windows, talk to one business owner, replace 26 windows. I get it. My heart is with you. That qualifies me in that respect. To the single mom who has to drive to Foster Farm to look to get employment, I get it. I understand that. And my heart is with you. To the senior citizen who has fear of looking outside your door after a certain time, I get that. I care about you. To the firefighter and the police officers who have not had raises, I get that. That's important to this, making this community a better place to live. And to all of the employees who have worked tirelessly for the city of Bastrop, I get that. And we have to come together to find a way to make our community work and be a more productive citizen organization. And to the blight in the community and the closing down of schools, I value those people like Randy Williams who just purchased the Carver Elementary School. I get the picture, and I care about this city. And I have the experience to start from day one.
Thank you. Bishop Bradford.
Well, thank you. Like I said, I'm dedicated to serve leader in this community. For those who know me, they can stand and say amen with me. I will fight and stand for this community. Like I say, I am a jurisdiction bishop of the state of Louisiana. I helped implement the prayer back in school with State Representative Trina Jackson. Like I said, I was a servant for our governor right now, John Bell Edwards. I'm looking forward to just step up and move our city into the 21st century. It is very important that we do it right now. because I find it to be, I want to use the term ridiculous to have police officers working for the city of Bastrop for $7.25 an hour. As I've been through this budget, I see firefighters working for $7.25 an hour. That is unacceptable to my election. If you want to see our people, first we talk about jobs, we got to do things here. We got to make sure that our people that work for the city of Bastrop is taken care of. We got to build our morale up. We got a great potential when we clean international up. But again, I say, my leadership, I will stand firm for the community of Bastrop. I'm looking forward in taking this city into the 21st century. There's no reason for firefighters, like I said, and police officers, and 30-year employees making under $10 an hour. I pledge tonight, I will adjust the budget that the lowest paid job in this community for a city employee will be $10. $10. You just can hardly raise a family on $10. And we expecting our firefighters, our police officers, making $7.25 an hour? It's impossible. It's unacceptable to me. And I'm asking for your vote, and I know I can take our city forward into the next 21st century.
Thank you, Bishop.
Okay, I'll just wait on the knob.
Can you repeat your question?
There's no question.
Okay. I believe you asked us to talk about our background. I graduated from Morehouse High School in 1963 at the age of 16. My goal was to graduate from Grambling State University by 19. I went summers and all, and I was so poor on Grambling's campus until I had to pick up pop bottles to eat because my mother, Clarice Cotton, had an operation at Morehouse General Hospital, and they sewed a gauze up in her, sizable, and we almost lost her. So I had to fend for myself, and I developed a desire never to see another college student have to pick up 5 pop bottles, RC bottles, to buy a honey bun, or to pick up enough bottles to buy a bean and rice dinner from Max Cafe down in the village. But I persevered, and I stopped to work to go to New Orleans during a hurricane, and I got drafted into the United States Army. I thought I could get back on Grambling's campus quick enough, but I couldn't, so the Army got me. I'm probably, I don't know whether there are any other United States Army veterans, but I served on the Vietnam campaign. After coming back from the Army, I went to work for United States, I taught school at Delta while going to Louisiana Tech as an engineer. IBM hired me out of Louisiana Tech. I was the first black congressional representative for Congressman Jerry Huckabee in 1976. I was president of MCIO for 2 years in the early 1970s in the Head Start program. I was I'm currently senior vice president of college and career readiness for the C.T. Vivian Leadership Institute in Atlanta, Georgia. And on many boards of directors, you can Google it, T-Lab in Dallas and all. But I'm uniquely qualified to bring this city forward. I'm not the guy who's gonna sit on a nest of eggs.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson.
You've got a lot of rhetoric from all of the people up here today, but nobody has given you a specific plan saying, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna create 1,000 jobs. They will be independent. They will sell to some of the biggest manufacturers in our area. A product that they're currently buying, will be able to give them that product at a lower price and probably a better quality. I'm not gonna get into specifics about that. As far as the city's financial budget, I'll get into a little specific there. If we can eliminate the amount of money that we have to pay into these retirement programs, the people that will come in and that will do this job are already retired. They don't need that. What they need is a community that's not as violent as the city that they've been working in for 20, 25 years. They will handle our problem. I'll give you specifics on that one. Guys, this is doable. We don't need anybody's help. It's doable. We can do it ourselves. It's gonna take some innovation. It's gonna take some thought outside the box, doing what we've been doing since 1959 is not gonna work in 2017. Thank you.
Mayor Jones.
Like Mr. Cotton here, I too graduated from Morehouse High School in 1964. I went to Southern University. I got a degree in recreation administration. I worked for the city for 35 years. 35 in recreation, 20 years in the public works department. So I do know how a city runs. I know how it works. Like I said, I brought my kids up here, even though I couldn't keep them because there were no jobs. We have one in Monroe and one in Dallas. But like I said, my kids are doing well too, thank God. And, but, you know, a lot of this, like I said, we do have to do it on our own. We have to work. And as I said, I'm not gonna put down the police department. Like I said, the police department are doing great. They're coming up, they will be better. The fire department, they will be better, they're coming up too. All our departments. We did take a hit. Like I said, most employees have not had a raise, probably since 2006. Most employees hadn't, and I was here then because I know, 2006, they hadn't had a raise. But most of them stuck. Most of them have retired here. And I gotta say, you don't want to do away with the retirement program. You got firemen and police work for all these years. They need to have something. The city's biggest thing is not retirement, it's the benefits. City employees have insurance, every one of them. Their families are insured. Like I said, the city provides a lot. Our pay is not the best, but most of our benefits are. So we do have dedicated employees that are dedicated to you. The recreation department is doing great. They're growing again, it's getting better. We have a new director. Thank you.
Mr. Montgomery.
Yes, my name is Eric Montgomery. I was born here in Bastrop, Louisiana at Morehouse General Hospital. I was educated through the Morehouse Parish School System. I attended Morehouse High School, H.B. Adams Elementary, Bastrop Junior High, and I graduated from Bastrop High School. I qualified for an associate degree in general business from the University of Arkansas at Monticello. I got a bachelor's degree from Wiley College in Texas in organizational management. I have a master's degree from Grambling State University. I work in the community of Bastrop in public service. I retired from 2 different jobs. I retired from the ARPA Morehouse as a counselor and work with the people with developmental disabilities. And I retired from the Bastrop Fire Department after almost 29 years, 12 and a half years as the fire chief. I volunteer with the Pelican State Youth Movement, one of the original founders, that we do community service work for the young people of this community. Also in the past, we had an organization called the Strop City Truckers. We did mentorships, and we did counseling, and we also gave scholarships. And I must admit, it is frustrating to hear one of my opponents mention a fire rating because under the Honorable Clarence Hawkins, we was able to bring that fire department from a class 4 down to a class 2 and almost a couple of points away from being a class 1. And then only to see a new administration come in and gut the department and close the fire prevention offices and also lose our training facility and cut personnel. So, but my vision for this city is one of a holistic approach where we would diversify. Thank you very much.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to be specific when you answer the questions. Only the question that I ask. Thanks. Mr. Ross.
All right, thank you. If everybody doesn't know, my name is Leland Chip Rawls. And I don't have all the experience that some of these gentlemen have. Unfortunately, I wasn't born yet when they started working here. But I'm 36. I'm a president of the Morehouse Parish School Board. I do have a degree from ULM, but I was a late bloomer. I didn't get that degree until 2010. I was 30 years old. I went back because I knew, as growing up, I thought I knew everything, but I found out later in life, life's not that way. And I went back, got a degree because I knew it would help me and for the future. Why am I running? Well, I guess why my focus is being an active mayor and an informed mayor. We need to be involved in the community all the time. Every time you turn around, we should see the mayor somewhere, left or right. If not, mowing the fields out here. If not, because you mentioned Vern earlier, you'll see him now on a bush hog in the medians trying to get stuff done just to help his parish or help his city to save money. We have a lot of positive things in our community. We have a lot of good people. We have clubs, organizations, concerned citizens, and they're trying to better this place we call a home. But you can't do it alone, and you can't do it with a divided community. If mayor, I intend to champion our citizens and bettering the entire community for everybody in it. That's a big task, but I believe by being an active mayor, an informed mayor, everybody's mayor, not I, but we can succeed. Thank you.
Hello again, I'm Reverend Lorenzo Wright. I'm not a politician. I'm running because God told me to run. My vision for this city comes from 2 Chronicles 7:14, led to rebuild for the common good of the common people. Now, the reason why he gave me 2 Chronicles 7:14, he said first on the spiritual side, the condition and state we're in is because of sin. Anytime we have high levels of crime, that's sin. High levels where we can't, is the demoralization and economic development, that's sin. Okay, anytime when kids are dropping out of school, that's sin. So let's rebuild for the common good of the common people. So the way we do that, since this is a community that's built on the Bible Belt, now there is a separation of state and church, but you can't separate me because I believe in God and the Bible. So therefore, since I'm filled with God and the Bible, then I'm a man of integrity, a man who fears God, a man who's going to do what God wants me to do. So therefore, with my vision, we need to have an alliance with all spiritual leaders. Now, your spiritual leaders in your community, they have a lot of pull, they have a lot of clout, and usually they have an effect on what you think. So my duty as mayor is to form an alliance with all spiritual leaders Monday with prayer, as well as to talk to them with problematic and optimistic things with our city. Now, I'm very well educated, as I've already told you. I have a degree in business technology, marketing, human resource management, a master's in administration with a focus on sports. I've lobbied on behalf of sport on the state legislative level. I know how to lobby, how to get things done. I'm an educator. Most of you all don't know me because I'm a professional student. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, Cure had placed this forum on Facebook. So they asked people in the community if they would like to send questions in through the Facebook page for the candidates tonight. So some of those questions were selected. Also, the former mayor of this great city, Mayor Clarence Hawkins, I had asked him to help us with this forum also. So at this time, we will do our Facebook questions. And you will have 1 minute to answer each question. Again, you will hear the knock after 20 seconds. Please adhere to the time. The first question, do you believe that quality education is a cornerstone in economic development? If so, what will you do to help the Morehouse Parish School Board improve public education for our youth. Again, do you believe that quality education is a cornerstone to economic development? If so, what will you do to help the Morehouse Parish School Board improve public education for our youth? Mr. Cox.
Don't start the clock yet. I want to take a deep breath. I'm sorry.
Start the clock.
I'm going to do what I've always done. Be willing to work with the Morehouse Parish school system. I'm banned from the Morehouse Parish, from Bastrop High School for the first time in 40 years. Right now, I can't go out there and help those kids with ACT. They have to come to my office. They were there last Saturday. So I do everything I can to work with the school board, with Mr. Ross, but they don't want me to work with them. I have the Macomb School District. I have school districts all over the country that we do intervention. I brought the Work Keys program here, Mr. Matthews. That's germane to workforce development, okay? Too quick. But I'm gonna do intervention here with or without the school board. The school board has issues. Let's not put lipstick on it and pretend that it doesn't have severe issues. And our kids are feeding this school to prison pipeline. I am the only candidate up here who can do something about it.
First of all, I am a standards and methods engineer. I went to GMI Engineering and Management Institute. I know this was the last question, but I wanted to talk about issues instead of about myself. GMI at the time was the #2 technical rated institute in the nation, behind only Massachusetts Institute of Technology and in front of Cal Polytechnical San Luis Obispo, all great schools. But anyway, what I would do to help the educational system here, mostly I'd work with parents. Nothing is gonna get those kids to learn like parent involvement. We need a reading program with parents and kids. Reading is fundamental. You can't do anything if you don't read well.
Thank you so much.
First of all, I do believe in education. And that, I know that's the only way we all get our city up, our kids up. Now, education is mainly the school board's job, not the mayor's job. We can only sit down with the members of the school board, superintendent, and work with them, give suggestions and listen. But everything we do with the school board is basically suggestions or help. Sit down with them and talk with them. What we need to do is probably get the principals, new and old principals, involved with the school board so they can help out. We need to bring some retired people in, and these are just suggestions that we can give the school board, to come down and sit down with the school board and talk to them about what we can do to get the schools up. Like I said, that basically is not the mayor's job, but we can help, and that's it.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Montgomery.
Yes, I do believe education is the cornerstone, but also I think it's kind of low-hanging fruit for everybody to sit here and bang on our education system, because what we got to do is we got to sweep around our own front door. We have to see what are we doing wrong in this city that's allowing this kind of situation to exist. So in other words, all I'm saying is that we need to provide a better environment for businesses and everything else here in the city of Bastrop, and that way the school board don't have the same problem that we have, and that is a lack of funds. They really have a lack of funds. We have some fantastic people in the school board offices down there, but they can't do much with the lack of funds that they have. So what we got to do is diversify our economy. If your city is growing and prospering, all the other subsidiaries will grow and prosper too, including our school system.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. Mr. Ross.
Thank you. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. You need to be an active and informed mayor. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to create a partnership with the Morehouse Parish School Board. I know it's not your job, it's not part of the job description, but partner up with every organization is going to want to make this community better. It's going to help our children. It's going to hopefully keep them in more school. There's a lot of nonprofits out there that work with children, do this on after-school care and stuff like that. As a city, we can try to maybe find a way to partner up with them to get a little bit extra education. If they need, I don't know, money, chairs, anything we can do to make it better for these kids to get better educated. We need to try to get the community more involved, which will hopefully get more parental involvement involved, because that is the key. It's getting our parents involved and wanting to do better for everybody. All right, thank you.
I believe that the mayor needs to be an educator. I am an educator. I've taught at Grambling State University as a supervising teacher. I've taught at Grambling State University in microcomputers, and I've also taught computer-based applications. I've taught in this parish, I've taught in Lincoln Parish. So I believe that's why my focus is on children, which is a STEM grant. Our children need to know about sciences, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So that's why I have formulated a grant through Louisiana Tech University, and it's already, right now, it's in its application stage right now with Morehouse Parish Schools. I'm not just saying this to be saying it, I'm giving you facts. I'm not walking into a position. I'm already acting as your mayor. Thank you.
I am an avid supporter of public education after a 33-year career of public education, so my heart will always be there. And you cannot legislate education from the mayor's office. I think the law prohibits interfering with that because they are a public subdivision in themselves. But I do not give up my right as a private citizen to get behind legislation for educational reform. And as mayor, some of the things that I did to support education, the Let's Move project under the First Lady Michelle Obama, which gained us recognition in Washington, D.C., the Literacy Challenge that I personally funded out of my own pocket, promoting a positive mental attitude, support for the fight on truancy, raising funds for the needed children, book bags, and Student of the Year committee, which I currently serve on. So my heart will always be with education. After the Sandy Hook shooting, we went into a meeting and implemented measures for safety. Thank you. Got to my heart that time.
Could you repeat that question for me again, Mr. Matthew, please?
The question is, do you believe that quality education is a cornerstone to economic development? If so, what will you do to help the Morehouse Parish School Board improve public education for our youth?
Yes, I do believe that. And the first thing, as mayor of this city, once I'm sworn in, I will be a key leader for education in our parish. I am all in favor of new schools for the parish of Morehouse. If you notice, every parish in Northeast Louisiana have built new schools. No, new schools doesn't teach, but they are safety. We must think of safety for our children, and it definitely would be economic development. Until we get our education up, we will not receive any economic development in this community. And I feel strongly that I will be a spearhead. I support educational park. I support our curriculum changing, how I pay for teachers. And we as a community have to do that. And we might well get ready to phase what you call a tax, because every parish in it, you get nothing for nothing. And we want better schools, better pay for our teachers. Let's pay 1 cent. Thank you, Mr. Matthew.
Our next question is 1 minute, and it will go to Mr. Jackson, and everyone will have the same question. Beyond the collection of local tax revenue, do you have any ideas that will help generate new revenues for the community development projects and other city needs? I'll repeat the question again. Beyond the collection of local tax revenues, do you have any ideas that will help generate new revenues for community development projects and other city needs?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I'll reiterate the two things that I pounded on thus far tonight. create 1,000 jobs. That's gonna bring a lot of money into Walmart and other places. The second thing is reducing the amount that we spend in our city budget. You don't eliminate the policeman's fund. What they've earned, they've got, it can't be taken away. We can reduce what we have to put into it and get better service. And that would, in essence, create money, because money that you had to spend for retirement benefits, health benefits, you no longer have to spend that.
Thank you. Mayor Jones?
Well, first I'd like to say, and to dispel a few things, to raise a tax, it has to come through the legislature. We're taxed at the top. You can't go back. You can't cut the police department's retirement. It's set by the state. And that's for all departments, police and fire and everyone else. You can't cut them as long as you have them. Now, we're working on grants. We hope to get one, even though I think our president delivered us a blow the other day when he put a freeze on EPA. We are just about sure to get a $2,000 grant, $200,000 grant coming up soon, which will help the situation at Bastrop and the IP site. We're just hoping that it comes on through.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, my plan is, the growth is here, the money is here. If you go 10 minutes away from here, you see all the growth you need to see. If you go 10 more minutes, you see even more growth. So what we have to do is we have to understand which way the growth is coming. The growth is coming from this way. So it doesn't make any sense for us to be growing that way. We need to grow toward where the major portion of the growth is coming, so we can take advantage of the economic opportunities that's out there for us. We do not have to reinvent the wheel. The programs are already there. The cities are already making progress. We the ones have insisted on staying over here in this corner. Hey, it's time we go to them. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
Beyond the collection of local tax revenue, do you have any ideas that would help generate new revenues for community development projects and other city needs?
All right. First off, well, Bastrop is a great town. What we got to do is make it attractive to other people. We have the MAC, we have big fairgrounds out there. Farmable does it. A lot of the communities around have festivals, have things to put Bastrop in the paper, put Bastrop in the news on a positive aspect. Once you start putting it in a positive aspect, people will see, hey, let's go here to do this. Hey, I came through Bastrop. It's great. Promote everything that we can. And what that'll do, that'll be bring people to come into Bastrop to spend taxes at the store, that's a slow revenue, but you got to start somewhere. We've got to get people to Bastrop to see, hey, this is a great place to live, and they want to come here. And that'll be step one. And then step two will be slowly developing, hopefully a company says, hey, you know, Bastrop's a great place. Let's maybe look into coming here for the future, or this is an idea for a site. All right, thank you.
Matthew 10:16, it says, be wise as a snake, but harmless as a dove. I may be a preacher, but I'm very shrewd when it comes to business. That's why I'm well educated in business marketing, human resource management, as well as administration. So therefore, also I'm a CMA, that's a certified manufacturing specialist. So therefore, I know what to do when it comes to industrialization. I know what to do when it comes to manufacturing. I know how to sell myself. So therefore, as your mayor, I promise you, I know how to hustle. When I say hustle, that don't mean like a street hustle. I know what that is. I've done that before too. But what I will say as a man of God, so some of you are looking at me like you never did anything wrong. But I'm just being real. I'm a real person. I'm a genuine person. So what I would do is I have a vision for a multi-complex center, and it would attract tourists. It would attract celebrities. Throughout my travels, I've met a lot of people which would generate revenues into this city through the multi-complex center.
Thank you very
think we can replicate excellence where it has already been done in cities similar to our size. We can work with our small businesses to help them to grow. We need to get people out of their houses who have talents doing hair in their houses, people who have catering business, and work with folks like Randy Williams and Ms. Evans, who just acquired the old school board building, which I applaud them for repurposing those buildings. Also, entertainment industry. We have reunions coming into town. That's a big business. We can market our area more and shop at home. Thank you.
Once again, Mr. Matthew, could you read that question for me again? I'm getting late in the day. I get a little tired. I can't hear as good.
I love the way they work this to get more time
Amen. Well, you got to be a politician.
Beyond the collection of local tax revenues, do you have any ideas that will help generate new revenues for community development projects and other city needs?
Yes, I do, Mr. Matthews. As you know, I hate to bring up People Water. People Water generate $3.5 million a year, take it back to Baltimore. That was a big fuss. We don't need to buy People Water. Maybe we may not, but we need to renegotiate their contract. Their contract is coming up in 2018. Once I'm sworn in as mayor, I will negotiate their contract for a better deal for the city of Bastrop. They give us $34,000 a year, and they collect $64,000 in utility fees. Otherwise, we paying them. I think if we can get them to renegotiate their contract franchise agreement here, and that, like I say, out of $3.5 million, I think they should at least be willing to invest $500,000 back each year for infrastructure and projects that you spoke of in our community. We must have everyone pay their share. I'm looking forward to negotiate this contract, and I'm not at peace with People Water because they take our money to other cities. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Before the collection of local tax revenues, beyond the collection of local tax revenues, do you have any ideas that will help generate new revenues for community development projects and other city needs?
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. That's a great question. People's Water has 165,000 miles of mains. That's from here to Marshall, Texas. The city of Bastrop doesn't have the capacity right now to even talk about that. We need to hold people accountable for some things. I'm not going to waste time on that. I'm an entrepreneur without startup capital. I love startups. We started Paychecks Incorporated, Tom Galazzano, myself and a few other people. We grew to the fastest growing company in America, privately held. The nonprofits, I've already supplied NLCEC, Freedom Challenge, and Morehouse Challenge. When I got the deal on the high set from Aztec Software, I gave it to Freedom Challenge, okay, and Morehouse Challenge, and NLCEC and other nonprofits. Our nonprofits are silos right now. I'm going to bring them together and leverage all of our resources.
Again, 1 minute. Like many cities, large and small, Bastrop faces many challenges concerning street and road repair, and the repair of the park and recreation facilities. How do you plan to solve these issues? Again, like many cities, large and small, Bastrop faces many challenges concerning street and road repair, and the repairs of park and recreation facilities. How do you plan to solve these issues? Mayor Jones.
Okay, when we first came in, we renewed the street tax. That was the first thing, and we got the old bills paid off. Now, in the next month or two, we will go out to bid, and that'll be about $3.9 million on streets for street repairs, and another $900,000 on sewer repair under the streets. We will have that completed before this year is over. And we're talking about close to $5 million in repairs to do something with our streets. And we did this by grading our streets from 1 to 4. Ones were the ones that's desperate. 4 were ones that could last a little while. So we'll be starting on ones, like I said, in the next couple of months. We got authority a month ago to go out to bid.
Thank you, Mayor Tom. Mr. Montgomery.
Yes, my philosophy is that what we have to do for the streets are concerned is the same thing that a lot of these things we're bringing up are symptoms. They're not causes. The cause of the situation is we don't have enough revenue. Everybody lines up when it's time to tell you what to spend your money on, but you have very few suggestions on how to bring in income to pay for these things. So what we got to do is we got to take advantage of the growth that's all around us. When we start doing that and start bringing in the revenue, we can improve our parks, we can improve our schools, we can improve our streets, we can improve everything. But until we get ourselves positioned where we can take advantage of the boom that's taking a place 10 minutes from here, then we're going to have problems paying for any of the things that we want to see have done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's kind of hard to follow when you got $5 million coming in to fix the roads, but that's a recurring thing once it gets paid off, if I'm not mistaken, in 4 or 5 years from now. Then we take out another loan, and that's what helps keep our roads okay, but they're not great. But like, I agree with some, we got to create new revenues to create new money so that we can afford to be able to do more stuff than what we actually do. And the Parks and Rec, I want to be on top of that. I want to be active in it. I want to be the guy out there with Parks and Rec. If they need something done, I'm young enough, which all these gentlemen are too. I'm going to be out there on a mower. I'm going to be out there on a weed eater. I'm going to clean these up myself. I want people to see me on the streets doing stuff, because that's what we need a mayor to do. Be out there in the public eye, doing the work, the extra work that he doesn't have to do, but he needs to do it just to show the community that he wants to better the community we live in.
For the people who know me, know that I don't take no for an answer. I don't start at the bottom. I believe in working my way straight to the top. I am truly a lobbyist. A lobbyist is someone who lobby on behalf of what they believe in. So I believe in going straight to the Capitol. I believe in working my way through my contacts, getting straight to the governor to bring those revenues into this city. Thank you.
Ms. Allen?
Under my administration, we completed 5 streets. And then we applied for a block grant, and we received an additional $450,000 to do 5 more streets. As far as parks and recreation, we have to have community buy-in. We cannot do it alone. And when your funds are dedicated to certain things in your city, I'm not going to sit here and tell and dazzle you with some brilliant idea and tell you I can do something that I know the law prohibits. We can try to maintain our facilities, keep them up, and then we're in a good position right now. I've been looking through the new president's infrastructure plan. We need to position ourselves to get on board and make application for some of those funds that will be coming down the pipes. And as a grant writer, I know how to look, I know how to write proposals. They're very competitive, but I have studied this region for the last 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ogden. Once I was sworn into mayor, we spent $735,000 in our street department. I have a team right now, a transition team. We're working over our city budget, looking into it, where we see that we can add to our streets another $356,000 to improve our streets in our community. Again, it's accountability. We have the money. We have to take the necessary steps to make sure everyone is protected in our community. Right now, we're working on a $13 million budget. We can pay over $3 million in salaries, and some of them is very kind of heavy at the top. I think we'll make the necessary adjustment and adjust our budget, and we'll be able to do more in our streets, and we will be able to add at least another $350,000 into our street department. Thank you.
Streets and parks. I'm glad to say that I supported Mayor Clarence Hawkins to get this tax passed that Mayor Jones and Ms. Olive was talking about. I fought for it on the radio day in and day out amid all kind of opposition. We need a cultural change in Bastrop. Bastrop is, in case you hadn't looked at the census statistics, is about 80+% African American. And I'm not one to say we need to bounce more basketballs. I can change the culture here. And instead of using this building for a gym to run up and down, I want to see kids from Washita, Melville, West Monroe come here for their academics. We can do that. I got a grant. I wrote a grant for Minister Montgomery in December to bring Delta Corps volunteers in here. I've got two. We got the news Monday that we were approved for 2 Delta Corps volunteers. They're going to work a whole year, and we're going to get more.
Guys, we can't keep spending money we don't have. I've given you a plan for bringing in more money. These people that are coming are gonna sell their homes, buy homes here, and open 6-figure bank accounts. I've also given you a plan for increasing our economic situation within our city by increasing number of jobs. Reduce what you're spending, increase what you're getting. It's simple. You got money to do things with. But saying we need to tax, we need to do this plan, that plan, you gotta spend what you have, and you gotta get done what you need to do with what you got.
Our next question. Many of our best and brightest young minds leave Bastrop to attend college and enter the military. However, most of them never return to Bastrop due to the lack of employment opportunities. What is your message to our youth, our greatest asset, about their future? Again, many of our best and brightest young minds leave Bastrop to attend college and enter the military. However, most of them never return to Bastrop due to the lack of employment opportunities. What is your message to our youth, our greatest asset, about their future? Mr. Montgomery.
Thank you. And that hits home well with me because I educated 3 kids that finished college. And none of them are living here now. They all had to go off to get opportunities. And what depresses me is, again, on their way to Monroe and on their way to Shreveport and Dallas, wherever they live, 10 minutes from their very home, they have to look at lots that are selling for $100,000 because people are dying to get there. We 10 minutes away. Where's our $100,000 lots that would increase our pool of money? And so it's frustrating, and I know that about the kids, but I would look those kids in the eyes and tell them, Bastrop is going to get into those $100,000 lots too when I become mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Ross.
What I like to tell them, they're our future. If they just got to give Bastrop a chance. There's great job opportunities in Monroe. Great, and hopefully we will bring some closer to home. But what big companies see is they see, where's the education? Where is it at? And I was like, the more educated we can get people and get them to come back to the community, the more bigger companies will want to come here. Will want to maybe put in Monroe because they see this is a great suburb to live in full of highly qualified, educated people. And if we can talk our youth into that and start building our base back up, then that's the start, that's the first step, and hopefully getting more companies and businesses here. Thank you.
As you know, I've already told you all my extensive background in business, but God chose me to be an educator. So therefore, I still promote the STEM grant, the grant that is in formulation right now. It's in application stage for Morehouse Parish schools. We want to bring back, we want our children to be able to come back as scientists. We want them to come back as computer technologists. We want them to come back as engineers. We want them to come back as mathematicians. That's what I would do to promote education so that they can come back. If we educate them in those fields of study, they can come back and this will be a prosperous community. Thank you.
I feel reasonably certain if we do our work here and now, exercise good fiscal responsibility, clean up our community, make it more appealing, and talk to our children, look at our demographics. Our stats show that we have a large number of senior citizens and we have a large number of children. So often as parents age, children live away, and one incentive is to be closer to your parents. And we have to be mindful of the generation that's coming up. They're looking and they're watching us, and we need to hand them a good, working, functional government. I believe if we do our work here and now, we can hand to the next generation a desire to come home. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ali. I feel once I'm sworn into office in July, we will immediately clean up the 140 acres of land here in the inner city of Bastrop. Then we will start our, once we get that clean and smooth out, we can start our economic development. And then once we start our economic development and bring jobs that will pay high-paying scale, a high-paying scale job, then our kids can return home. I don't want to suggest that anybody child come home to work for Bastrop at the wages except 25 what our city government is paying. We must do something first, all for those kids to come home and stay home and build a home and raise a family here in Bastrop. International need to be cleaned up, and we will be able to then bring high-scale paying jobs, a great economic development. Donald Trump say he build buildings, but we can build buildings right here in Bastrop.
Mr. Matthews, I was awarded the Martin Luther King Drum Major Award by President Obama for work in Detroit, Michigan. What would I say to our youth? I'd say that you're gonna graduate. The problem is when students leave, I work with these students right here, or every one of these students. Every week, we got ACT in my office Saturday morning. They're gonna leave. But the ones that are gonna stay are gonna be the dropouts. The ones that's gonna end up over on Todd Street and Rosina Street, stealing your big screen TVs, shooting, trying to control neighborhoods, wreaking a havoc on this town, are the dropouts. My Towns to Gowns program will make sure that every student wears a gown. GED, but GED's no more, high set, that's why I brought high set to town. I put a program in the school, got Dr. Knopfler to agree. The program was just dismantled. Maximilian, the policeman, his son was in the program, and others.
Thank you so much.
It's too short.
I moved here from Sacramento, California. I had a marketing research business out there. I can put my feet any place on the face of the earth and make it. And I chose Bastrop. And that's because I had never lived here, that's because Bastrop has gold lying in the streets. And we need to be able to capture it. Now you don't see it because you walk by it for years. It's there. Believe me, it's there. Our kids really don't want jobs. They want to be the boss. And everybody does. Everybody wants to run their own ship. And if we can provide those opportunities for our kids here, they'll come here, they'll stay here. And like me, they'll move here.
I guess, well, for years, I guess we call it brain drain. Our kids have come, educated here and left. Now, our job is to get them back. That is going to be the hard part because we got to offer them something. Like I said, and I hate to hop on it, but education is it. Most, you're talking about living $100,000 jobs. Bastrop has some of the lowest houses in this area. I mean, in some of the nicest houses. You can go out in some of these areas and see some houses where you would pay $200,000, you could pay $100-some-thousand here. But not many people will move here with their kids and take them back somewhere else to go to school. It is up to us to do something with our education system. I hate to hop on it, but that's the way we're going to keep our kids. We're going to have to educate the kids now, starting now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our last and final question. 1 minute. Each of you all running for the mayor of the city of Bastrop. The last question is, what is good about Bastrop, Louisiana? What is good about Bastrop, Louisiana, the city that you want to represent? Mr. Rawls.
What's great about people? Well, first off, I think we have a lot of great organizations, nonprofit, and a lot of great people here that want better. That's the first step in what we need. I think we have good parks. I think they need a little improvement. We have good parks to attract people. We have great facilities, like I said earlier, the MAC, Municipal Center, to bring businesses and bring festivals into the town to make it more attractive. More attractive, which it is. We have the schools. We do have the magnet school that is attractive, and with Morehouse Parish School System. We have a great, and the area surrounding us is a sportsman paradise for a lot of people with hunting, fishing, and all that. And a lot of people want to come into this town just because of that. Thank you.
I'm a man of words. So what comes to mind is Bastrop is known as a city of spirit, pride, and progress. So therefore, what I would like to do is focus on the fact of Bastrop being, that's what I like about Bastrop, that is known as a city of spirit, pride, and progress. But as I mentioned in my platform, that according to 2 Corinthians 7:14, it says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, that means God will heal this land if it's something that we will do. So first it starts with the church. Majority of us, we are in the church, so we have to be honest. So if we as spiritual leaders first will connect with our people and recognize corporately that we have sinned, then God will heal the land and bring us back to this being a city of spirit, pride, and progress. That's what I like about Bastrop.
Our greatest resource is and will always be the great people of this community. We have shown our spirit and our heart in a time of disaster. While we may differ politically, but in a time that's crucial, we all come together. That was demonstrated under the International Paper Company when the workers out there worked harder, making it more difficult for International to close that operation. When Katrina hit down in South Louisiana, we had churches and social groups opening up their homes and their hearts. And then next, our children. And we have great opportunity. The ground is fertile for growth. I believe in the people of Bastrop. I will always be behind you.
Thank you, Ms. Ali. Bastrop, the greatest thing we have in Bastrop is our potential. We have the greatest potential in any community in Northeast Louisiana to grow. You got to remember, our elevation sit more higher than Monroe Airport, our elevation. We sit on a hill. We have 165 coming through, that's great. We have 425 coming through, that's great. We have great potential to be in the greatest city in Northeast Louisiana. We have lovely people in Bastrop. We care. If you look around, you have 9 people running for office. They all care. Not a doubt in my mind they have something they want to contribute to Bastrop. Once I'm elected, I intend to unite with them and work closely with them and pull us together that we can all go in one direction and make our city prosper once again.
Well, I have great confidence in the people of Bastrop. I have to agree with you, Mayor Olive, that is our greatest resource. But I'm talking about developing the human capital. Land, labor, capital, that's what it takes for economic development. We got the land. The companies have the capital. We need the labor. We need everyone who stays here. Mayor Jones talked about brain drain. Well, I've always believed and supported education. I started the SOS committee, myself and Virgil Vetch. I called Billy Raven, Mr. Raven, and Ira Smith, and we met Mr. Duke Shackelford and Mr. Joe Davenport and Jackie Dale at the Maru State Bank and started, which is responsible for all of the construction, the gymnasiums, the stadium, the cafeterias, the media centers. Well, that's what I want to focus on now is the people, the children. We are going to change the culture to a more dynamic culture of education and excellence.
I think Bastrop has great moral values. After moving here from La La Land, California, believe me, you can tell the difference. Has unlimited potential. And I'll show you what I mean by giving you a story. Customer came in by me the other day, says he's a reverend at one of our local churches. When I grow up, I want to be like you. And I said, that's funny. When I quit the paper mill working with you a few years ago, you guys all called me crazy. That's the potential Bastrop has. If you have entrepreneurial skills, if you know how to make money, Bastrop has it.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mayor?
And it's been said by everyone, the greatest thing about Bastrop is the people. And that's why we're all up here. The people, like I said, the people make Bastrop. You always hear that it's for the city, that would be the people, no matter what. Even during the flood, a lot of the people don't realize that First Baptist opened up. They opened the church up for the people of Bastrop and Morehouse Parish. They provided food and shelter the first 3 days with no help at all. Next came St. John. They fed the people for a week. But it's the people that make the city what it is. It's the people that keep the city what it is. And no matter where you look or how you look, it's going to come back to the people. And that's the reason we're here.
This question is real easy. The best thing about Bastrop to me, our motto is the city of spirit, pride, and progress. I have been around talking to people, and believe me, the spirit of these people is alive and well. Man, I mean to tell you, despite what all we've been through, the way we've been beat down, the things that we've lost, the spirit of the people is alive and well. But now, what I would do as mayor is I will restore the pride and the progress. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your truthful answers tonight. Thank this audience for your participation tonight. Our last item before I bring our hostess up is that I'm going to give you all 1 minute for each candidate to have a closing remark. Remember the ground rules that were set at the beginning. Our closing remark, 1 minute. Reverend Wright.
I am a man of God who was chosen by God to run for the office of mayor for this city. My platform is 2 Chronicles 7:14, led to reveal for the common good of the common people. It is time for common people, not because you're an educator, not because you're a lawyer, not because you're a judge. It is time for the common people to receive the benefits of what this community can offer. Thank you.
I'm not here to sell you on a dream, but I ask you to share and support me in a shared vision of prosperity. I'm running on my record, a record of accomplishments. We secured and received over $4.5 million in grants during my tenure in office. We secured the DG food industry, which has provided over 300 jobs, and we secured a store on the west end of town, Dollar General. We completed 5 streets, implemented a plan that Mayor Hawkins had initiated, the 4 gateway sign. And out of the 4 years I was your mayor, this city was recognized by Louisiana Municipal Association for outstanding community development. I ask for your support. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you again, Ms. Hop. Again, once again, I would like to thank everyone for coming out, and I can assure you, once I'm elected and sworn in July this 15th, I will first give our city employees, the ones that are making $7.25, our fighters, $10 an hour. I will pledge to that. Don't swear me in until I do that. I will be looking forward to cleaning up International Paper Mill site for the health and the future of our children. I will work very closely with the education system in here that we can then start economic development. I am looking forward, I'm excited. Please elect Charles Bradford, number 12, for mayor, a known leader, a man that will stand for the community because I love the community. This is my community. I'm looking forward to being a servant for the city of Bastrop.
Thank you. My wife of 49 years is sitting right over there with one of our 8 daughters that we raised them all here in Bastrop, Louisiana. Most of them are gone. All of them have gotten advanced education beyond secondary. What we do is not for our own children. I have very few relatives. Every time somebody comes up to me and says, I would vote for you, but I'm kin to Betty. I would vote for you, but I'm kin to Arthur Earl. I would vote for you, but I'm, double cousin with Charles. We don't have any relatives here. My wife and I went to Alabama to visit with Stillman College. They hired us Monday. On the way back, my wife and I stopped and we spent the night with our daughter, who's a pharmacist, in Jackson, Mississippi. We stopped to wait on my son-in-law to bring us something. We pulled into this driveway. It was a house, and she said, oh my goodness, I love this house, let's buy it. And she said, in essence, but you love the people of Bastrop. We're gonna stay in Bastrop if we can. Thank you.
Guys, I'm probably the only candidate up here that's not gonna ask for your vote. I'm not gonna ask you to tell people to vote for me. What I am gonna ask you to do is when that curtain closes, don't think about your cousins, don't think about your friends, don't think about the guy that's a member of your clique. Think Bastrop first. Everybody. Make sure everybody votes. This is not one you can sit out on. Everybody votes, and everybody votes Bastrop first.
What I say is, let's continue the progress. And it's the slow progress that's going. Most people, especially the ones that live on the west side or down on, I guess, Henry, didn't realize until maybe now that you don't smell that place anymore. We've cleared that up. That's what we're doing. We're doing what we need to do to improve the city. We're doing it at a slow rate and we're doing it at a quiet rate, but we're doing it to help the people. Everything we've done to help the people. Like we got, I guess most people don't realize Monroe had $1.5 million over budget for the damage of the flood. We had $135,000, and it's because we lost half our pumps, but most people didn't realize it. We kept them going, we got it all going, and we will keep it going. We do have approximately $1.5 million work going up at the North Pond, but we lose that. And we have to keep it going in order to keep your life better.
It's been an honor and a privilege to serve public service for 24 years on one job. I retired, and 29 years on the other job. Like I say, I'd like to say thank you to everybody for your consideration of me as mayor. I'd like to thank my family. I'd like to thank my wife. I'd like to thank my spiritual advisor and my pastor, Reverend Moselle Smith Jr. And let's move this city forward. Let's not go backwards. Thank you.
Once again, I'd like to thank everybody that showed up and came out. I'd like to thank the Cure again for having us all here. I'd like to thank Mr. Matthews for doing a good job right there. I'm going to start off with saying a quote by Helen Keller that I thought was great. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. I plan, if I got elected into office, I'm going to get on the ground running. I want to be informed, and I want to be an active mayor. I want you to see me every time you turn around. I want to work with every organization to see what they need from the bottom all the way, all nonprofit, all the way to the city government. And I want to do everything we can to try to better Bastrop as a community as a whole. Thank you. Yeah, you too. I get to keep it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I would like for you to give a rousing round of applause to these 8 candidates that have given themselves to run and to serve as the mayor for the city of Bastrop. Fantastic job. May God bless each and every one of you all, and God bless America. Thank you all so much.
Before you all leave, let me just close out. I'm sorry. I would like to thank all of the candidates for their participation in our democratic process. I would like to thank the following entities in helping to pull this forum together. Mr. Terry Matthews for serving as our moderator. You did such an excellent job. I would like to thank Cure's co-chairperson, LaTanya Hawkins. I would like to thank my daughter, Javia Kennedy. Her and LaTanya were the timekeepers. You all did a great job as well. Again, our special thanks to Bastrop High School's SGA, Student Government Association, and Ms. Flint Roy. I would like to thank the Bastrop Daily Enterprise for allowing the forum to be published in the newspaper. I would like to give a special thanks to the city of Bastrop. When I came out this morning, the ladies and the gentlemen that was here setting up, anything that I needed, they were all access. Thank them also for coming out tonight and making sure everything went smoothly. I would like to thank the citizens of Bastrop and Morehouse Parish for sharing the flyer via social media. Thank you all for coming and sharing your questions and concerns. Remember, we are right back here next Thursday night, February 2nd, for our City Council Forum from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Again, doors will open at 5 p.m. To the voters, please remember to vote on March 25th, 2017. Early voting starts March 11th through March 18th. I would like to leave with you this quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Thank you and good